Welcome to Pathways to Success, a program that supports our micro, small, and medium enterprises here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Behind the lens that captures every touch of a hand, every embrace, and all the grace of a wedding day are the hands of a wedding videographer. Our guest today was the first to bring same-day edits into possibility. We have on the show this time, in front of the camera, wedding filmmaker Jason Magbanua. Hi Jason, welcome to Pathways to Success.
Thank you for having me. It's surreal. I'm in front of the camera, not behind it.
Yeah, thank you that you set aside some time from your busy schedule. I know you're very busy to come over. And also the father of same-day edits. How does that make you feel when you hear that?
It makes me feel old, actually. But it makes me feel proud that I was able to start something that like a lot of people in the industry benefit from. Like people who want to do wedding videography, and it makes me quite proud, really.
Imagine you created an art form that has transformed an entire industry. Imagine that. And celebrating 25 years next year. Congratulations.
That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
You know, for wedding videographers, there's a shelf life, or even any wedding supplier, like you're good for 5-10 years. But then you reach a milestone, hey, you're doing 12, you're doing 15. And then, wow, all of a sudden, you're 25 years in. Makes you feel real nice about yourself and all the things that you've done, and being able to connect with the couples over the years.
I can imagine time flies by so fast for you. Let's talk about your background first, because not many people know that your first job was as a teacher.
That's correct.
Of video production in Lucena, Quezon. And from being Professor Jason, how did you find your way to where you are today?
Okay, my students started to ask me, really, if I wanted to do the wedding videos of their big brothers and big sisters. And I needed the extra income. And I said, okay, yes, let's do this. I was known as the video guy in Lucena City, because like I would film everything. I would do the editing for the projects. And I said yes, it was great extra income. Extra 5,000 pesos, mind you, in the year 1999. Back then.
Okay.
It was a whole, like a ton of money for me to augment my income as a teacher. And then when I gave the VHS tape, VHS tape to the couple.
I think the Gen Alpha don't know what that is now.
All right. And then they said, and the couples appreciated what I did. And it was a great feeling. It was like, wow, I can do this full time. I felt I paid my dues being a teacher. 5 years in, I said, I'm ready to go back to Manila, where I really grew up in, and said, let me try this industry out, where nothing was set. Everything was like old school. You got your 2-hour wedding video set to very old school music. Kenny G, Silhouette, Basil Valdez, Sharon Cuneta, Ikaw. I said, let me try to shake this industry up. Let me see if I could use different kinds of music, a different kind of editing, a more fast-paced kind of editing. And it clicked. It clicked, Mine.
What was the very first wedding for you?
Very first wedding was in Lucena City. Her name was Ronnie, the bride, and I remember using a soundtrack from the Steve Martin movie, like classical music. I was able to watch it. I got a VHS copy a couple of years ago. It's like, wow, this was so good when I did it. It is so bad now. But you know, like I know so much has changed, and but like seeing that first effort, that like first wedding video. It was like years after, 20 years after, it's like, wow, I've grown so much as a creator. I've grown so much as an entrepreneur. And little did I know that doing that first video would lead me to where I am right now.
Yeah, so at what point did you change the game? I mean, elevating wedding documentation into an art form? Okay,
I think it was really like at the inception of the same day edit, right? Okay, because it was really showing other people that how or what a great wedding video could be. Because before, as I said, people would think, I don't want a wedding video. It's boring, it's long, it's like Baduy. People would pay a premium for wedding photos.
Photos were
right?
the thing back then.
You have your Patek Uys, you have your Wig Tysmans, which I learned a lot from. But then when I started to do my shoots and do my weddings and do my edits and make something special out of them, picking great music, elevating the cinematography, dealing with couples in a more professional manner and not be the guy in maong and the polo barong,
the manong in the
videographer,
jeans,
right? I mean, I don't mean to slight them, but the point was like to elevate the industry, to elevate myself and connect with you on on a greater level. And then when I started doing that, people would realize that, a wedding video could be emotional, could be like a movie, could be like a music video.
Yeah. That was when they realized that wedding videos are not only beautiful but artistic, cinematic, emotional.
That's the point. Na parang, I'm not the only person, the couple, right? Bridegroom. I'm not going to be the only person to watch this, as was the case before. Because I would get my VHS or my tape and like my CD. It's like, okay, tayo lang manonood because it wasn't really good. But now you had a beautiful wedding video. I'm gonna brag. I'm gonna brag to my friends. This is my wedding video. This is how I got married, and this is the place I got married in. So it snowballed.
All right. So do you still remember the very first wedding where you introduced the same day edit concept?
Clear as day. Clear as day.
What was it?
I always remember. I love telling this story because I know that it was the start. It was the start of something really big. I had a bride. Her name was Michelle Chan, and she told me, "Hey Jason, I want a video to be shown at the reception, right? And I want the what happened during the preparation ceremony to be put together into a video and showed later." And I said, at that time, everybody was editing in desktops. Nobody used laptops before because the laptops before could only do PowerPoint and Word, and that was about it. So I said yes without really fully understanding the gravity of what was being asked of me. Said, okay, let me think this over. But I guess having that entrepreneurial mindset, like saying no to something and then figuring it out, never saying no, right? I took the footage home, and it was on tape, mind you. Took me like hours to ingest the footage because it was not digital, from tape to computer, put everything together. I used a very short song, 2.5 minutes, Nora Jones, Nearness of You, everything slow motion. Went back, took a taxi to Shangri-La Makati, showed it on the big screen, and everybody's jaw just like dropped. Like, what are we?
What is this?
It was
something new.
Inflection point talaga. And from then on, I realized that, okay, this is something I needed to be better at every day, every wedding. And because I'm gonna make it big.
Something clicked all of a sudden,
clicked,
right?
Really.
So, but what was the wedding gig that turned you into an A-list celebrity wedding videographer?
I think in order for a person to be an A-list celebrity wedding videographer was to get an A-list celebrity. And in 2006, nobody was bigger. Nobody was bigger than Claudine Barreto, right? Okay. It's sad to say they move on, life happens apart from each other. But I can still remember it because this was like total pre-internet video, no YouTube yet, no Vimeo yet. So everybody was transfixed onto their television screens, right? Direct Johnny asks at a certain point, was already airing the video that we did, and he was like, "What are we screening? What is this?" Very beautifully produced cinematic wedding video of
like a movie.
A-list actors and an actress, put together, distilled into 3.5 minutes. And I remember that being aired on ABS back then. It's like, I was at the airport watching then, wow, okay. And that was taking it to the next level, really.
I can imagine. So that was one of your trophy weddings. What were the other trophy weddings and the other most memorable for you, and why?
Okay, that's a very tricky question. I have a couple examples in my pocket, right? But those are tricky examples because as a wedding videographer, you always want something new. Like, you're asking me to pick from my children. Who's my favorite? But I'm gonna answer regardless. But it's tough. So this is no slight to other couples. But really, among the most memorable ones, really, I had this couple who eventually became my friends. Their names are Mara and Elo. Okay, and then it was Elo had a condition, dwarfism, okay? And this was showing to the world of how like two people who have like the odds stacked against them, right? And like you hear trash talk like, oh, they're not gonna really last, you know, it's like, you know, this is gonna be temporary. But that was 2014, okay? And it's now 2024, it's like 10 years in, they're celebrating, they have two wonderful kids together. And that was just showing like the power of a wedding video. And this is really one of my first viral videos. It wasn't even on YouTube, it was on Vimeo. It's like people were able to connect. Like, against all odds, we have a story to tell. I have a condition, she's like, she doesn't, but we're gonna make this together. We're gonna make it work.
I think it takes a really good story to connect to your audience, right? And indeed, it takes all heart. And for Jason, a 2001 PC to seize opportunities in this business. Jason, we have to take a very short break. Up next, we'll talk about the marriage of passion and business. Stay tuned. Pathways to Success. We'll be right back.
Good morning, I'm Ferdy Salvador.
I'm Mikey Oreta, and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future. And in each episode, we'll explore how they're staying ahead in their respective fields, one industry at a time.
The industry changes quite rapidly.
We know where to go. We've got our comfort zone.
Those are early manifestations for the of what
I'm happy you told me that because now I know I'm not getting Alzheimer's.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Magandang araw, Pilipinas! Sa bawat issue may iba't ibang anggulo. Sa bawat storya may iba't ibang kwento.
Himayin natin ang bawat sulok at bawat kanto mula sa iba't ibang perspektibo na madaling maintindihan ng karaniwang mamamayan.
Every Saturday na mga magdanda to 11:30 a.m. Kaya huwag kayong papahuli mga kababayan. Manatiling may pakialam sa mga issue sa ating bansa kung kaya samahan niyo kami. Dito lang sa Cuatro Cantos!
Welcome back to Pathways to Success. We are still with much sought-after wedding videographer, Jason Magbanua. Now, Jason, you have pioneered a lot of the best techniques for wedding videos, the styles for wedding videos, but let's talk about you now as an entrepreneur. What was your initial investment and what kind of equipment did you start with back in 1999, 2000? Yes.
Okay. So first, I borrowed equipment from the school I was teaching in. And then I said, okay, I gotta buy my own equipment. I had to borrow money. I had to borrow money from my mom. Love her.
And how much was it, the initial
It's
capital?
125 grand. 125 grand, so I can have my own video camera, a professional video camera to start with the business.
Already a lot of money back then, right?
It was a lot
Yeah.
of money. And I remember getting the camera from Quiapo, right? Mayor Photo, right? Got the camera. And then after that, holy shoot, how am I gonna pay for this? It was, at that time, it was sink or swim for me because I was gonna have our firstborn back then. It's like, I gotta make this work, I gotta make this work.
Yeah.
So easily 150 grand to borrow the camera. I already had a desktop system, and so I could edit the videos. And a lot of it was just really waiting for clients to, come on, book me please, and marketing and putting the name out, really.
So how long was the ROI?
ROI, I think, was like a couple of years because
Wow, 2 years.
Yeah, because the video,
That's still long.
the people, the couples then, it was a trickle. Like I would really see my calendars, like year 2000, 2001. 10 people.
Yeah, few
like
and far
10
between.
Few
Yeah.
and far between. Like how do I do it? How do I market some more and get the name out? And then slowly and surely, I was able to build like my clientele slowly and surely because the name was getting out and we had a great reputation and the online forums were starting and I was always being like the former couples would put in a good word for me and the fan base and the referral base just really grew from there.
Fast forward to today, couples will be lucky to have you as their wedding videographer. In a year, 365 days a year, how many weddings do you do?
Our target is 100, right? Our target is 100, and that's apart from the teams that I deploy on a wedding day. Say, for example, I'm booked on a particular wedding day. I would say, hey, I'm not available, but my team who is able, willing, and available, you can get them a little bit lower, but they have the pedigree.
It's like sending a new you.
That's right, that's right. We call it Short Story 2 by Jason Magbanua.
But then there's always new technology, Jason. So do you always need to upgrade to stay relevant?
Great. Okay. So the first thing is that I have to, like, my point on that is, like, I'm a tech head. So it comes naturally for me. Like, hey, there's a new camera, there's a new lens, I'm on top of that. But I'm always keen to say that I have to, as a responsible business person, I have to just really run my equipment down to the ground before I upgrade to new equipment. I have to be able to explore all the capabilities of that equipment.
You
that
maximize
camera.
what you
That's
have.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. Because it's going to be a waste if I always jump to the next best thing. So I'm very fiscally responsible with that. And I think more than that, like more than equipment, it's really style and the creativity that goes into the shooting and into the edit for me to to grow as an artist.
Okay, 24 years in the business, Jason, you are also an educator. So give us some tips, give us some lessons. What kind of discipline, body and mind, and also your strategy. What kind of strategy is needed to succeed in this industry?
Okay, number one, we gotta go mental first though. Meaning that you have to absorb, read and immerse yourself in different types of media. Whether it's music videos, fashion shows, visits to museums, traveling. That will enrich your outlook in life and therefore give you a different perspective how to create these videos, right?
Yeah.
Number two, physical. You gotta be at your best because it is a physically demanding job. Cameras are heavy and therefore you have to exercise, you have to take care of your diet, you gotta take your supplements, and you don't want to be like Mr. Tito videographer, right? You gotta be before. I was much younger than my clients, and then came a time I was as old as my clients. I can't deny the fact right now I am older than my clients. So I gotta stay on par and look the part.
Yes, and I can imagine on the wedding day itself, you have to be parang everywhere at the same time.
Correct. You gotta talk to the bride, you gotta talk to the group, you gotta tell your people where to be at, and still postura.
But still, for people who want to be in this business, what kind of support do wedding videographers need to sustain their business and improve their craft?
I think it's a lot of dedication and passion for the craft as well. Because there will come a time that, oh my God, I'm doing weddings again, and you feel sawa. Right?
Yeah. I was going to ask, how do you keep that drive, sustain the creativity, right?
I think it's the creative person in me that will fuel that drive to create something different, create something new. Because for me, number one enemy is boredom. I've been doing this for a long time. If I continue to do the same thing over and over again, week in and week out, might as well go 9 to 5, have a 9 to 5 job, right? But I didn't go 9 to 5 because I knew I wasn't cut out for that. Therefore, I must experiment and do different things and experiment and try out things. It may not always succeed, but at least I tried something different.
So you are the Jason Magbanua now for staying open to possibilities and never saying no. How should aspiring videographers, wedding videographers, adopt that?
I think because before it was a limitation of the technology, right? Because I didn't have a laptop then. But then I still said yes. Right now, all creators have cameras. They all have laptops. They have the capability to do the things that I'm doing at this level because technology and education is easily accessible. I think that's the way to move forward if you want to start in this industry. Absorb and educate everything that you can because the tutorials are free, the how-tos are free, and then apply that to the first few wedding videos that they're gonna do.
Yeah, never say no. Find out how you can make it work first, right?
Correct.
Okay, we're taking another break. When we return, we look into the passion and creativity that keeps Jason Magbanua on top of his game. Stay with us.
Good morning, everyone!
Join Paulo Del Rosario
Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
and Asis Carillo
Let's crank up the high energy with good vibes and inspiration.
and Monique Tuzon.
Join us in the next hour for stories and conversations that matter. Wherever the day takes you, don't forget to spread love and kindness.
Only here on
It's a beautiful day!
Very fine. Denny is looking very smart. Hello, Denny. He's woken up specially for you. Find a special place.
Go to this one here. You've been a good
I
girl.
have been very good, actually. Very, very good. So, very happy Christmas. Happy. Thank you.
Welcome back. We are still with Jason Magbanua, a wedding videographer who has been exemplary in capturing special moments in every Filipino celebration. Now, Jason, you approach your work not with a heavy hand. What does that mean? Explain to our viewers.
It means not really imposing my will as a videographer on the wedding day. It means letting things happen organically and let it free flow. It's not like, look here, look there, go there. No, because I want emotions to flow. That's how I tell stories. I want them to enjoy the wedding as much as they can and just try to remind them that they're getting married not because of the photo and video team. They're getting married because they love each other. They want to commit.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say, okay, like we're kind of like not a heavy hand, just light direction, but we're flies on the wall, documenting everything that's happening.
Also, your principle, you work by the principle that listening is the backbone of your editing. So what can younger videographers learn from this?
Oh, because I want the younger videographers to think that not everything should be eye candy and fluff and just like window dressing. I think the younger videographers should be able to listen and cut down the story into what is the most essential, which is the relationship between the bride and the groom and the people around them. And you can only learn that if you're able to listen to what's happening.
Yeah.
The minister, the priest, what the family is saying, because the audio will always be the backbone of the story.
You put a lot of effort into knowing the couple, their personal life, how they got together, because you said you can tell a better story when you know them.
Correct. That is correct. Because when I get to meet them, and this is a must for me, getting to meet them before the actual wedding day. Number one, so we're not strangers on the wedding day. I get to say, hi, how are you? Okay, and like everything's gonna be okay today. You look so beautiful. And I need to connect with them because I will make the correct editing decisions because I knew beforehand what do they listen to. How are they? Are they comfortable in front of the camera? How did they get together? Is the person who initially introduced them to one another is there in the wedding party? Can I get footage of that? How close is the bride to the father? Right? Like, do I get
Yeah.
to? So little tiny things like that educate me. Like I learn from that and I tell that, cascade that to the team na, oh, watch out for the dad. He's gonna cry. He's the only daughter. She's the only daughter. And so those things, like connecting with my client beforehand, makes us better videographers on the day off.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. It's good to finally get to know the man behind the camera. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Mai, for having me.
And that's our episode today. It is always a great idea to bank on your creativity to fuel your success. To our aspiring entrepreneurs, stay open to possibilities. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Thanks for watching.